What exactly is Stoicism? It's a practical philosophy that has its roots in ancient ideas and practices from the Greco-Roman world, which have persisted and remained relevant even in modern times. What is the definition of Stoicism? According to Wikipedia, it's a philosophy of personal ethics that's influenced by its system of logic and views on the natural world. The central idea of Stoicism, which has remained influential for over 1,000 years, is the significance of perception and control. When confronted with difficulties and obstacles, it's crucial for individuals to recognize what they can and cannot control. By having a clear understanding of what they can and cannot control, Stoics are able to take productive action that's not influenced by wishful thinking, enabling them to plan and respond appropriately. As a result, Stoic philosophy functions both as a safeguard against a loss of confidence and self-respect in the face of failure, and as a defense against arrogance in the face of success and prosperity. Who started Stoicism? Zeno of Citium established the philosophy of Stoicism in Athens in the early 3rd century BCE. He formulated his principles by studying the work of cynics such as Diogenes, and was strongly influenced by the ideas of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, while also incorporating his own original concept. Zeno's philosophy emphasized the importance of virtue, and he believed that being virtuous involved surrendering to the will of God or nature. In his teachings, Zeno did not distinguish between the two concepts. Another significant doctrine of Stoicism was apatheia, which denoted the absence of passion. When Zeno talked about passion, he meant unregulated emotions and physical desires. According to Zeno, obtaining wisdom and the ability to apply it necessitated the absence of such passions. Where did Stoicism originate? Stoicism emerged in Athens, ancient Greece, during the turbulent times that ensued after the untimely death of Alexander the Great. It's highly probable that the philosophy appealed to those who were seeking a sense of tranquility and stability amidst the chaos of a period marked by disarray and upheaval. The philosophy was initially named Zenoism in honor of its founder. However, the name was eventually abandoned because there was a concern that followers might begin to view Zeno as completely wise and incapable of making mistakes, when in reality there is always more to learn, comprehend, and improve upon. The name Stoicism is derived from the sto poikile, or painted porch, which was a decorated colonnade in Athens where Zeno and his adherents regularly gathered to converse about their nascent philosophy. Stoicism was eventually embraced by a significant number of well-educated people in the Hellenic Greek world, making it one of the most commonly followed philosophies. Afterward, a large number of Roman philosophers and leaders, including but not limited to Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Cicero, embraced and expanded upon Stoicism. Who are the main Stoic philosophers? Stoicism has had numerous advocates throughout history, but its early writings can be attributed to a few notable individuals, one of whom was Marcus Aurelius. He was born in 121 AD and served as the Roman emperor from 161 to 180. Marcus Aurelius was an early proponent of Stoicism and is considered one of the 5 good emperors who presided over one of the final stable periods of the Roman Empire. Aurelius, similar to other good emperors, was prepared for his role as an emperor by his predecessor Antoninus Pius. There were rumors that Hadrian, the previous emperor, intended to appoint Marcus as his successor, but due to his young age, he ultimately chose Pius instead. Marcus Aurelius was appointed as a co-emperor along with Lucius Aurelius Verus. They ruled together for 8 years until Verus became sick and died. After that, Aurelius served as the sole emperor for another 8 years. Later, he appointed his son Commodus as co-emperor, Aurelius was known as a competent and composed leader during his time as emperor. He faced significant challenges during his reign, including overseeing 2 wars and the 15-year-long Antonine Plague. Despite his duties as emperor, Aurelius was also a scholar and philosopher who wrote extensively. The writings of Aurelius, known as the Meditations, were eventually compiled and published. It is commonly believed that these writings provide a sincere and truthful insight into the thoughts of an emperor, as Aurelius never intended to make them widely known or published. The Meditations, written by Marcus Aurelius, are a crucial part of Stoic philosophy and a significant work on effective leadership. They are considered an honest record of an emperor's thoughts, as Aurelius did not intend to publish them. Aurelius died at 58 years old in April of 180 CE in his military tent, and the cause of his death is unknown, but some speculate that it was due to the plague. Although Marcus Aurelius was a capable ruler and philosopher, his reputation as a wise emperor was marred by his choice of successor, his biological son Commodus. Commodus' rule was characterized by megalomaniacal behavior, which eventually led to his assassination and the Year of 5 Emperors. Many scholars argue that Aurelius' death marked the beginning of the decline of the Roman Empire, as it never again reached the level of stability and prosperity achieved during the era of the 5 good emperors. One could interpret Aurelius' decision to make his son his heir in different ways. Some might see it as a bad decision to establish a family dynasty, but others might see it as an example of his Stoic philosophy in practice. Unlike the other 5 good emperors, Aurelius didn't have a surviving male heir, putting him in a difficult situation. If Aurelius had not designated Commodus as his heir, it is possible that he would have faced opposition from Commodus and his supporters, who would have seen it as a betrayal of their expectations. It was common practice for emperors with male children to name them as their heirs, so Commodus may have assumed he would be designated. Even if Aurelius had chosen someone else, Commodus could have used his influence and support to challenge the designated heir. Aurelius had limited options when it came to his succession plan. He couldn't have his own son assassinated, and since none of the other good emperors had male heirs who survived to adulthood, he had no one else to pass the throne to. It was expected that Commodus would succeed him, and Aurelius taught him as best he could during their joint rule. Aurelius couldn't have known that Commodus would turn out to be a poor emperor, so he did what he could to prepare him for the role. Despite the debate over the choice to elevate Commodus, Aurelius is still widely regarded as one of Rome's greatest emperors and a highly learned figure. He was so esteemed that his biographers referred to him as the philosopher, and his ideas and writings continued to be praised for centuries after his passing. Seneca the Younger was a philosopher, statesman, satirist, and dramatist who served as a senator under the emperors Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. Although Caligula had sentenced him to death, his successor, Claudius, commuted the sentence to exile, after which he returned to Rome to serve as a tutor and advisor to Nero. Seneca believed that ethics were crucial, and he saw Stoicism as a useful framework for the upper-class Roman political life. He believed that philosophy could soothe the wounds of life and that destructive passions, such as anger and grief, could be moderated by reason. Seneca also believed that it was important to confront one's mortality, to live without fear of death, and to meet it with dignity when the time came. He put this into practice when he was ordered to commit suicide by Emperor Nero after being accused of being involved in a conspiracy to assassinate the emperor. Epictetus was originally born as a slave in Phrygia, but later moved to Rome to teach philosophy. He was then exiled to Nicopolis by Emperor Domitian, who exiled all philosophers from Rome. In Nicopolis, Epictetus founded a philosophy school, and it is rumored that Emperor Hadrian was one of his admirers. While he was a slave, he He studied philosophy under Musonius Rufus, another well-known Stoic, and used that education to raise his social status. Epictetus is believed to have been crippled, but the reason for his disability is unknown. Some speculate that his master may have disabled him to prevent him from escaping, while others suggest that he may have been born with the condition or became disabled due to illness. Unfortunately, Epictetus did not leave behind any writings of his own, and what we know of his philosophy comes from his pupil Arrian's transcriptions of his discourses. Arrian claims that the transcriptions are unedited and unaltered, and they are now known as the Discourses. Epictetus was particularly interested in the concepts of desire, choice, and assent. He argued that although we are not responsible for the ideas that come into our minds, we are responsible for how we use them. He also stressed the importance of seeing things as a whole and viewing ourselves as parts of a larger system. Therefore, all things, even evils, are part of the will of providence, whether that be God or nature, and are ultimately good from the perspective of the whole. Diogenes of Babylon, who distinguished himself from other philosophers with the same name, was the leader of the Stoic school in Athens during the 2nd century BCE. Although he did not leave any written works, his philosophy has been extensively quoted by other writers, indicating that he was highly respected. He is best known for introducing Stoicism to Rome through his moderate and composed manner of speaking, which was greatly appreciated by notable figures such as Cicero, who called him a great and important Stoic. One of Diogenes' most noteworthy philosophical beliefs concerned music. He believed that music could create harmony and proportion within the soul, and that it could pacify inflamed passions and emotions. He argued that music was like nourishment for the mind and soul, similar to how proper diet and exercise contribute to a healthy body. Musonius Rufus was a well-known Stoic philosopher who taught in Rome during the 1st century CE. He was associated with the Stoic opposition to Nero, and was exiled from the city in 65 CE due to his teaching of Stoicism and perceived association with a conspiracy to assassinate the emperor, similar to Seneca's required suicide. He returned to the city following Nero's death, where he taught his most famous student, Epictetus. Musonius was later exiled again under the rule of Emperor Vespasian, but he was allowed to remain for a few more years due to his high esteem, before eventually being forced into exile. While there are many transcribed speeches credited to him, it is uncertain how many of them are authentic. His philosophy is similar to Epictetus, but he also had some unique ideas. He focused on practical philosophy and ethics, and did not consider logic or physics as important. He lived an ascetic lifestyle to be as close to nature as possible. Musonius Rufus also believed that men and women had equal capacities for understanding virtue, and advocated for women to receive an education in philosophy. What are the 4 virtues of Stoicism? To understand Stoicism, it can be useful to consider the 4 virtues, which many Stoics use as a practical guide for addressing challenging issues. These ethical principles provide a tangible framework for putting philosophy into practice, rather than merely discussing it in abstract terms. 1. Wisdom. Stoicism views wisdom, also known as phronesis or prudence, as the ability to apply abstract philosophical teachings in practical situations. In other words, the core of wisdom is the knowledge of what constitutes virtue, good and bad, right and wrong behavior, and what actions are neutral. Additionally, it involves a deep understanding of what is within an individual's control and what is not, which is a crucial aspect of wisdom in Stoicism. 2. Courage. Stoic courage can be defined as the bravery to confront adversity without succumbing to sadness or hopelessness, the bravery to maintain your convictions even when doing so might lead to punishment, and the bravery to express your opinions and stand up for what is true. 3. Temperance. The Stoics consider temperance, moderation, and self-control as equivalent terms. They hold the belief that excessive desire leads to feelings of unhappiness and discontentment, and that such impulses are largely counterproductive. The reason being, the more one indulges in their desires, the more they crave for them, and the more unattainable those desires become. According to Stoic philosophy, genuine abundance comes from having only what is necessary, rather than what is merely desired. It is essential to comprehend this concept to understand it fully. 4. Justice. During the Greek and Roman eras, Stoicism was closely intertwined with political affairs, and prominent Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, regarded justice as the most crucial virtue, the foundation of all other virtues. In contemporary times, the term justice more accurately refers to our obligation to our fellow human beings. We must strive to contribute to the betterment of society, as people exist primarily for the benefit of other people. What are the benefits of Stoicism? Understanding the 4 virtues can aid in comprehending Stoic philosophy. It is a practical philosophy that can have real-life benefits when its principles are followed. Stoicism can enable individuals to connect with the world around them by urging them to perceive the universe as a single, living entity, and keep in mind how this entity interconnects and flows in various ways. Stoicism is a pragmatic and beneficial philosophy that, when implemented, yields concrete advantages for its adherents. It advocates living in the present rather than dwelling on the past or fixating on the future. According to Seneca, genuine happiness is found in the present moment and being content with what we have and what we are currently experiencing. Self-actualization is another significant advantage of Stoicism. By enhancing the quality of one's thoughts and recognizing that one's self-opinion is crucial, individuals can improve the quality of their lives and overcome their dependence on others' opinions. It is important not to indulge in selfishness, though. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of cultivating strong relationships with others and regards meaningful friendship as being of utmost importance. Focusing solely on one's own needs disrupts harmony and causes division, which weakens the interconnectedness of all existence within the living entity. Another fundamental principle of Stoicism is to focus on things within one's control, rather than fixating on external events and circumstances beyond our influence. This is not to suggest passivity or fatalism, but rather that our happiness is contingent on our ability to surmount obstacles within our power, regardless of the effort required. Stoicism can also contribute to positive mental health. Modern psychotherapy extensively employs Stoic philosophy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, which is rooted in rational emotive behavior therapy, one of the original therapeutic approaches to treating depression. Engaging in meaningful action, recognizing limitations, and exercising self-control can all contribute to a positive mental state. Acknowledging negativity can help to normalize it and reduce its intensity, giving it less control over an individual's mentality. Stoicism and Death. The concept of death and mortality is an important topic in Stoic philosophy. Dealing with the fear of death has been a recurring theme among both ancient and modern Stoic philosophers. According to Stoic belief, accepting the inevitability of death is crucial to overcoming the fear of it. This notion was partly what prompted Massimo Pigliucci to adopt Stoicism after turning 50 and contemplating his own mortality. Ancient Stoics did not view death as an inherent evil. If everything in the universe is rational, then death is rational, and fear of it is irrational. Moreover, death often falls outside of an individual's control. It is unlikely that we can control when or how we die, but we can control our thoughts and reactions to the idea of death. By adopting this mindset, one can escape the fear of death and prevent it from ruling over one's actions, as suggested by Epictetus. 1. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I would recommend one particular book above all others. However, it is important to choose the proper translation to ensure ease of understanding. I suggest the version translated by Gregory Hayes. This book is great for its readability, with short passages that make it an ideal companion on your journey to understanding Stoic philosophy. The book in question is called Meditations, a collection of personal writings by Marcus Aurelius. While the work was not originally intended for publication, it contains a wealth of musings on Stoic philosophy and other ideas. The quotes range from brief sentences to entire paragraphs discussing various philosophical concepts. The central theme of the book is the development of a cosmic perspective through self-reflection and the judgment of oneself and others. Aurelius emphasizes the importance of finding one's place in the universe and understanding that everything comes from nature and will eventually return to it. He advises against indulging in sensory afflictions, as they distract from the mental world and cause unnecessary pain and pleasure. His formula for success involves using adversity as a means of personal growth, thriving not just in spite of challenges, but because of them. 2. Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. Letters from a Stoic, also known as Seneca's Letters, is a collection of 124 letters written by Seneca, the younger during his retirement after serving Emperor Nero. While the letters are addressed to Lucilius, they are written as open letters to a wider audience, much like essays. Unlike the short passages found in Meditations, Seneca's letters are longer and are divided into individual chapters that offer insightful definitions of Stoic philosophy. The letters focus on the joy that wisdom brings and the inner life of individuals, emphasizing the Stoic belief that virtue is the only true good and vice is the only true evil. In a departure from the typical views of wealthy Romans, Seneca also questioned the ethics of slavery and gladiatorial spectacles in these letters. 3. Discourses of Epictetus by Arrian. Arrian wrote the Discourses, which is a compilation of conversations that took place between Epictetus and his pupils after his formal instruction in the classroom. Some scholars debate whether Arrian actually wrote the work, or if he took credit for writings actually put down by Epictetus. However, the prevailing belief is that Arrian used detailed notes he had taken and supplemented them with his own recollections, resulting in a noticeable contrast between the quotations and the author's voice. Since the discourses are presented as conversations, they are not a formal presentation of philosophy, but more like a practical collection of teachings and advice given to students in a friendly and informal manner. 4. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday's book has become a popular and influential work in modern Stoic philosophy, and has gained attention in the sports world with coverage in publications like Sports Illustrated and ESPN. It is considered a must-read by many modern Stoics, and uses historical examples of successful individuals who faced adversity and used it to grow and improve themselves. The book presents classic Stoic principles in contemporary language, focusing on concepts such as recognizing what is within your control, managing your emotions, and understanding your own capabilities. 5. A Handbook for New Stoics. How to Thrive in a World Out of Your Control by Massimo Pigliucci and Gregory Lopez. Co-authored by Massimo Pigliucci, a philosophy professor and advocate of Stoicism, and Gregory Lopez, a long-time practitioner of Stoicism in New York. A Handbook for New Stoics offers a practical guide to applying Stoic philosophy to everyday life. The book features 52 weekly lessons that introduce readers to Stoicism and help them integrate its principles into their lives. The authors emphasize the pragmatic nature of Stoicism and provide essential wisdom for adapting ancient philosophy to the challenges of the modern world. 6. How to be a Stoic by Massimo Pigliucci. How to be a Stoic is a book by Massimo Pigliucci that builds upon his initial New York Times essay, which is credited with helping to ignite the modern Stoic movement. The book presents Stoicism in a modern context that is consistent with recent advancements in science and philosophy since the inception of Stoicism, providing a contemporary perspective on the ancient philosophy. Pigliucci engages in lengthy dialogues with Epictetus, imagining conversations between the two on the practical applications of Stoicism in everyday life. Additionally, the book offers various Stoic exercises that readers can practice to immediately start experiencing the benefits of Stoicism. Why is Stoicism still so popular? Stoicism, originating in ancient Greece and Rome and rediscovered in the Renaissance, is a timeless philosophy with ideas that remain relevant despite changes in the world. Its universal themes, such as the notion that material possessions cannot bring lasting satisfaction and that we cannot control others' thoughts, can be applied in any era. Stoicism's adaptability is reflected in its links to the development of Roman Christianity and its popularity with early Christian theologians, despite its pagan roots. Stoicism's appeal lies in its ability to reconcile ambition with empathy and groundedness. Despite originating in the upper classes of Greece and Rome, Stoicism is an egalitarian philosophy that recognizes little difference between humans based on wealth, gender, or age. It is popular among world leaders such as Bill Clinton and Thomas Jefferson, as well as in modern militaries. Nancy Sherman, a philosophy instructor at Annapolis, asserts that Stoicism is a key component of the military mindset due to its emphasis on self-control, inner strength, and endurance in the face of adversity. Stoicism has gained popularity in the business world, with well-known figures such as Tim Ferriss, who has a background in investment, and Ryan Holiday, who is a marketing expert. The philosophy also fits well in today's globalized world, with its emphasis on cosmopolitanism and the free flow of ideas. It has been portrayed positively in films such as Gladiator and The Fall of the Roman Empire, and characters like Yoda and Spock are seen as embodying Stoic ideals. In an age where emotional oversharing is common, the concept of restraint and control is appealing to many. Stoicism's emphasis on discussion and discourse has also made it a natural fit for the internet and social media. Stoic podcasts are popular. Massimo Pigliucci's How to be a Stoic essay for the New York Times was widely shared on social media, and many influential modern Stoics dabble in YouTube videos to instruct and inspire. How is modern Stoicism different from ancient Stoicism? Despite the timeless nature of many Stoic ideas, it is important to recognize that ancient Stoicism was shaped by different cultural norms and values than those of our modern era. The ancient Stoic society was characterized by absolute rule, superstition, slavery, and subjugation of women and non-Roman peoples, and shorter lifespans. While many ancient Stoics displayed progressive thinking, the modern world in which we want to apply Stoicism is different from the Roman one. Although Stoic ideas are adaptable, modern developments in philosophy, science, and society pose challenges to Stoic thought. Unlike Platonism, Stoicism did not have a continuous history and was nearly lost during the medieval era. It did not face direct challenges from Enlightenment thinkers such as John Locke, Thomas Paine, Thomas Hobbes, or Marxist thinkers who questioned the validity of Stoic ideas, including the concept of tabula rasa, materialism, and atheism. The concept of acting in accordance with nature has different interpretations among philosophers, and in modern times, it has taken on a darker meaning of indulging in emotions and passions rather than controlling them, which contradicts the ancient Stoic belief in a rational and good universe. However, in ancient times, humanity had not yet reached the depths of brutality seen in historical events, such as the Crusades, the First World War, the Holocaust, and the Armenian Genocide. In 2017, Sandy Grant argued against Stoicism in modern times, citing the election of Donald Trump and the rise of authoritarianism as examples of when Stoicism discourages action against tyranny. While some may interpret Stoicism in this way, it is important to note that a crucial element of the philosophy is understanding what can and cannot be controlled. For instance, if an elected leader with whom one disagrees takes power, it is not possible to control the election's results. To worry and become angry over other people's choices is futile, since it is beyond your control. It is better to focus on what you can control, such as writing to your elected representatives, attending protests, and discussing your concerns with others to spread awareness. Massimo Pigliucci suggests that modern interpretations of Stoic ideals should consider the changing realities of the world and take advantage of exposure to new philosophies and ideas not available in ancient times. This is exemplified by the similarity between the Stoic concept of apatheia and the Buddhist concept of non-attachment. What are the best Stoic quotes? Stoicism can be easily understood by reading quotes from some of its most famous followers. These quotes have been around for centuries and offer practical wisdom on various aspects of daily life. The internet is full of articles and lists containing such quotes, which are said to provide inspiration, guidance, and new perspectives. Here is a collection of some of the best quotes from both ancient and modern philosophers, including Marcus Aurelius and Abraham Lincoln, that embody the principles of Stoicism. If you prefer a more tangible reminder, I have created framed prints featuring some of these quotes that you can display in your home. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Confine yourself to the present. I cannot escape death, but at least I can escape the fear of it. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. While we are postponing, life speeds by. What really ruins our character is the fact that none of us looks back over his life. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. No loss should be more regrettable to us than losing our time, for it's irretrievable. He with the most is content with the least. Our channel is a great resource for finding additional quotes on Stoicism. We regularly post new content related to Stoic philosophy and its principles, including quotes from both ancient and modern thinkers. Whether you're a long-time follower of Stoicism or just starting to explore its teachings, our channel is a valuable source of inspiration and guidance. What is the difference between Stoicism and Epicureanism? Stoicism and Epicureanism were two opposing philosophies in ancient Greece. Epicureanism, founded by Epicurus, is a hedonistic philosophy that believes in pursuing pleasure as life's primary purpose. However, their form of pleasure involves freedom from fear and pain, rather than excessive indulgence in pleasure. In contrast, Stoicism emphasizes ethics and the concept of ataraxia, which is freedom from stress and worry. While both philosophies preach moderation and control, they approach it from different angles. Epicureanism discourages political participation, as it often invites pain and strife, which should be avoided. In contrast, Stoicism sees pain and strife as a challenge to be overcome. Epicureanism is also materialistic and denies the supernatural, including a belief in a god or nature beyond atomic matter. Epicureanism introduced the problem of evil, which questions the existence of a higher power when evil exists, in contrast to Stoic philosophies that believe in a governing providence in the universe. Christianity accepted Stoicism, while Epicureanism was seen as dangerously atheistic. What are the disadvantages of Stoicism? Stoicism is often misunderstood as a philosophy that encourages individuals to be emotionless, selfish, and fatalistic. This confusion arises due to the misinterpretation of the difference between an individual with a Stoic attitude and a follower of Stoic philosophy who strives to manage their emotions in a healthy way. Unfortunately, some people even accuse followers of Stoicism of being sociopaths or psychopaths without any actual understanding of the philosophy itself. Additionally, there are those who criticize Stoicism for its focus on control in a dynamic and chaotic world, arguing that this approach is opposed to the Stoic ideal of nature. Furthermore, the popularity of Marcus Aurelius' writings has led to confusion, as people who quote him are sometimes mislabeled as followers of Stoic philosophy, even if they do not embrace other tenets of the philosophy. For instance, former US President Bill Clinton famously read Meditations while campaigning in the late 1980s, but few Stoics would consider him a man who is in control of his passions. Laurie Charles, in her writing on Medium, mentions that Meditations is a popular book among individuals such as entrepreneurs, politicians, and business bloggers who believe that they are destined for greatness. She refers to this group as pompous white men who often engage in inappropriate behavior towards women. Massimo Pigliucci, on the other hand, categorizes these individuals as part of Stoicism, which views Stoicism as a way to achieve wealth. Additionally, there is Broicism, a perversion of Stoicism, popular among pickup artists and incels, and Stoicism, which is the version of Stoicism used in the American military, where the techniques are used without regard for the immorality of war. These views can lead to misunderstandings and negative perceptions of Stoicism that are not based on the true philosophy. Furthermore, Stoicism is a philosophy that requires time and effort to learn how to control one's emotions and gain the necessary wisdom. Many individuals may become discouraged if they fail to become perfect Stoics, not realizing that there is no such thing as a perfect Stoic, and that philosophy is about striving for an ideal rather than achieving perfection. What is a Stoic person like? There is a common misunderstanding that Stoics lack emotions entirely. Although Stoics strive to regulate their emotions towards external events and exercise self-discipline to control them, it does not mean that they do not experience emotions at all. Modern Stoics often incorporate meditation into their practice to identify negative emotions as they arise and let them pass. Meditation is often mistaken for a religious exercise, but it can be effective without any religious context. With regular meditation practice, individuals may experience inner calm and focus on moral well-being in navigating life. Practicing Stoic philosophy involves increasing awareness of everyday events that trigger negative emotions and striving for a virtuous life. As an example, imagine someone accidentally hits your car in a parking lot, leaving a significant scratch on your bumper. Typically, this would cause anger and frustration that could linger for an extended period. However, a Stoic individual would focus on the present moment and acknowledge that the accident was out of their control. Why waste energy and time being angry over something that cannot be changed? Stoic philosophy doesn't aim to eliminate emotions altogether, as we all feel them. Instead, A Stoic person strives to regulate their emotions and prevent them from dictating their life. So next time an event like this happens in your life, just try to practice the Stoic virtue of wisdom and realize that real life is full of events that not even you cannot control. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we hope you found it informative and enjoyable. If you did, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Also, we would love to hear your thoughts and feedback on our content in the comments section below. Your feedback helps us improve and deliver even better videos for you. Once again, thank you for your time and support, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.